Hey team, Timbo here, ready for another rather large episode of the Small Business Big Marketing Show, which today is lovingly brought to you by Cornerstone Business Solutions and Web Central, two businesses that care about your business's growth. Now, if you're a typical business owner, you're probably not getting enough time to work on your marketing because you're flat out working in your business. Am I right or am I wrong? I think we know what the answer is. Well, it doesn't need to be that way. Imagine having access to a full-time marketing virtual assistant who you could rely on to do all those tasks you're just not getting around to. But if you did, would help you get more customers. Tasks like helpful content creation, managing your social media activity, doing outbound calling, setting up meetings with potential partners, generating leads from all those LinkedIn contacts you've accumulated over the years, and more. Hey, if you like the sound of that, then check out cornerstonebusinesssolutions.com.au, an Aussie-owned and family-run business based in the Philippines, who will have you getting more marketing done with less in no time. cornerstonebusinesssolutions.com.au, a business I believe in so much, I own a part of it. Hey, speaking of mission-critical business concepts, you realise you are who Google says you are, right? I mean, if you're not ranking for key search terms on page one of the world's biggest search engine, then it kind of raises the question, does your business exist? Is there a page 2 or a page 3 of Google? I don't know. Never been there. If you're not ranking well, then I suggest contacting Web Central, who are specialists at getting your business found online fast. Not only can they build you a custom website, but they'll optimise it on page and off page so you appear in the search results every time. Head over to webcentral.com.au/Timbo and check out their SEO booster pack after the show. David Christison is responsible for 8 unique viral videos that have a combined viewing time of, wait for it, 164 years. Enough said. Let's go and find out how he did it and why.
Well, I said, welcome to a small business marketing show where successful small business owners share their souls to take your marketing straight to the lead. Now, here's your host, Mr. Timbo Reid.
And welcome back to another episode of Australia's #1 marketing show. I am your host, Timbo Reid, but you, so much more importantly, you're a motivated business owner and you are ready to crank out some great marketing to build that beautiful business of yours into the empire it deserves to be. Hey, big show today. You are about to meet David Christison, whose business recently conducted a social experiment involving the manufacture of 8 insanely successful viral videos. What he shares is not only hugely useful for anyone hoping to create a viral video, but what Dave and his team did, I think, is pure genius when it comes to marketing their own business. Plus, I start part 1 of a 4-part series in which over the next few weeks, I'm going to share 20 highly clickable email subject lines that will get more of your emails opened more often. Plus, I announce a live event I'm speaking at in September that I'd love to see you at. As per usual, there is marketing GOLD dripping from the ceiling over here at Small Business Big Marketing's HQ. So let's get stuck right in. Hey, coming up, we go behind the scenes of an amazing viral video marketing experiment that I'm guessing many of you, including me, were sucked in by. But first, a thank you and an announcement. Now, in case you didn't know, 2 episodes per month of this show are going up on all Virgin Australia domestic and international flights, which I'm absolutely loving. And I just want to thank everyone who's emailed me or hit me up on Twitter and Facebook saying they've been listening to this show whilst flying on Virgin Australia. Really appreciate it, guys. And if you're up for it, feel free to send Virgin a big thank you on their Twitter or their Facebook stream. I would love that too. Hey, Growth Hack Accelerator. Let me tell you all about that. I am excited to announce it. It's a live event I'm speaking at in September, and I'll be joined by two other speakers in outsourcing expert David Warren and systems specialist David Guest. Two Davids. The Growth Hack Accelerator is a ridiculous and highly practical 3-hour breakfast session in which you will discover how to create a marketing system that will position you as a thought leader. I'll be presenting that one. How to radically reduce your business's greatest expense, and how to remove yourself from your business for maximum growth, which is a theme that's been fairly common to the most recent episodes of this show, I'd have to say. It's called the Growth Hack Accelerator. Seats are limited to 100, and all the details can be found over at smallbusinessbigmarketing.com/growth hacks. I hope to see you there in September. All right, coming up after this fireside chat, I share 5 highly clickable email subject lines. But first, allow me to introduce you to today's guest. Now, David Christison is the founder of The Woolshed, a video production company based in Melbourne that's done something quite genius, I reckon, for the art of viral videos and the marketing of his own business. You see, over the past 2 years, The Woolshed has produced 8 unique viral videos that many of you would have seen and gone, oh my God, OMG, and then gone and shared them with your mates. But the amazing thing is, all 8 of the videos are fully manufactured. They're fakes, so to speak. You'll find all 8 of them over at smallbusinessbigmarketing.com/327. But some of the major ones include the guy who fights off a great white shark in Sydney Harbour. This one sucked me in completely. The crazy guy who runs into an outback tornado to take a selfie, and the snowboarding girl being chased by a bear. That's just 3 of the 8 that David's produced. As David says in his press release, we set out to better understand exactly how to create a short-form, highly shareable and snackable content that is capable of reaching worldwide mass audiences without the luxury of pricey media buys, ad campaigns, publicity strategies or distribution deals. And without any paid media, promotion or publicity, here's what those 8 viral videos have achieved. 164 years of YouTube watch time, 205 million online views, 500,000 plus comments, and worldwide news coverage on all the big outlets like CNN and ABC News in America, etc., etc. Add to this the fact that this brilliant experiment single-handedly launched David's business to the point now where they're working for big names like, you know, the Warner Brothers, the Village Roadshows of the world. I love this story. Listen in and you'll discover what works and what doesn't, and what are the absolute must-haves for any viral video marketing campaign. I started off by asking David an obvious but often overlooked question: what is a viral video?
That's a good question. I think there are different definitions of that, and I think it's constantly evolving, the definition, because I think the bar constantly gets set higher on what viral is. It used to be something like being able to achieve somewhere between 1 to 3 million views, online views in a period of 2 to 4 days, I think was the old definition. Now, I think that is absolutely the minimum benchmark.
Wow.
To truly go viral, because I think anything under a mil, you're just not hitting a critical mass that is going to propel it forward. So, don't get me wrong, getting a couple of 100,000 views on a video is great. And if it's all earned media, then, fantastic. Mm-hmm. But I just don't I've never seen that, that will plateau out very quickly. And, you really got to try and get over that million mark to see it propel forward further.
Big numbers already.
Yeah. But that's, that's a definition. I don't even know if there is a real definition of what viral is.
Part of that question is that, it's a bit of an overused term, isn't
Sure.
it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Everyone wants a viral video. It's like, well, let's get clear on what it is. So it's great to be able to quantify it. Over 1 million views in a certain time frame. Are they all it's cracked up to be?
Well, I guess it all depends on what you're trying to achieve.
Correct.
We can go into why we did it, but, if you don't have a specific outcome in mind, what is it? It's just another number, really.
Yeah. How many viral videos, you probably don't know the answer to this, but is your sense, how many viral videos are planned versus ones where someone's just taken a photo of their cat falling off the ladder and next thing they know they've got 4 million views?
Yeah, another good question. Look, I don't have an exact, but all I can tell you is that when we first set out to kind of explore this medium, I was way more trusting with the world, and I am far more skeptical now on everything that I see. Even the most outrageous ones, you got to look at with a critical eye to figure out if you think it's really true or not. But obviously there are so many of them that are just luck and catching the right moment at the right time, getting that awesome bit of vision. But there's a lot of fabricators out there like ourselves that are in the mix for sure.
So your scepticism is around the fact that, is that viral or is that being completely produced? Just tell me. I want to talk about. We're here to talk about the experiment and the learnings from it for us small business owners. But what's your favourite viral video of all time?
No, I don't actually have an answer for you on that.
Come on, you can't. No, you have to.
I actually don't. We do them so much now. We look at them so much now that it's just a wave. Look, I can only say that I love and respect the ones that you see that are driving home a message or, an association, whether it's brand funded or not, but you're still entertained. And if you can manage to find that balance, without pissing someone off because you're actually, selling them a message, that's something I really respect. And so I always look out for those kinds of videos because they're really hard to actually achieve. Okay,
so let me give you a couple because they're past guests of this show. Squatty Potty. So Bobby Edwards, who's the creator of, who owns Squatty Potties, he goes to his video production company, I want a viral video and here's $500,000. What did you think of that video?
I think it's amazing. Is that what it cost? What they did was incredible.
It actually cost $250,000 US.
Yeah. That's good to know. It's great to know those kind of numbers.
Yeah, it is. It's fantastic to know. And I'm going to ask you for some numbers later, so hopefully you come through. So that great video, completely planned, completely produced, high production values, went viral. I think I spoke to him 3 weeks into him launching it, and he'd already had 85 million views. I think 70% was coming from Facebook, which I think in itself is quite interesting versus YouTube.
Absolutely.
Second one, and I spoke to Melissa Coker. She is the owner of the fashion label that produced the first Kiss video.
Yeah, right.
Remember that one?
Yeah. Oh,
I love that one.
Yeah.
But she didn't set out, her brief to her director friend in LA wasn't give me a viral video. It was give me a beautiful video that I can play at the local fashion awards, right?
Yeah, wow. Yeah.
It went viral.
Yeah.
Because it was so amazing.
Yeah. And that's interesting because you've got two success stories, one who specifically wanted, numbers and one that didn't, and they've both had huge successes in their own right. Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, it is fascinating when someone comes to you and is like, I want a viral video, it's like, well, why? The great thing about Squatty Potty is like, well, you're selling a product and
Correct.
you want to get mass reach with it. And that was such an awesome example of there's no bullshit there. Like we're going to sell you this product and we're just going to do it in the most inventive and creative and funny way possible.
That you will want to share it with your friends.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I get it. So okay, the experiment. Your video production company, the Woolshed Company, goes and has this idea about creating a social experiment around viral videos. Where'd the idea come from? And explain what the experiment is.
Sure. So it actually came from, and full credit goes to one of our staff, who wasn't one of our staff at the time. His name's Casper Mazzotti. He is the face of Terry Tufferson, which is one of the YouTube accounts we used for this experiment. And he's the face of the first ever video that we released, which is this shark attack in Sydney Harbour.
And it completely sucked me in.
Yeah. So he was the kind of creative director behind that. And that was like a total dip our toes in the water and see if we can make some waves in this
do you want to
landscape.
use any more ocean analogies?
Without, a greater plan behind it at all. We were really early days. We hadn't even officially launched our business yet.
Oh, wow.
And we just wanted to see, whether we could have some kind of impact in this landscape. And
so was Casper's idea over a beer one Friday afternoon, hey, why don't we see if we can create a viral video that people think is real?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't even as well calculated as that. It was more, I got an idea. I think we should film it and put it out to the world and see what happens. So, off the success of that video, and there was a bit of an awakening to, oh shit, you can totally fabricate these kinds of things.
Before you tell
results.
us off the success, hold that thought. Just brief 10, 15-second synopsis of the shark attack video.
So it's a man filming himself with a GoPro, jumps off a cliff in the Sydney Harbour, lands in the water and is attacked or seemingly attacked by a great white shark.
Gotcha. And it is as scary as all get out. Okay. So off the success of that, Dave.
Yeah. So off the success of that, we wanted to launch our business and we wanted to get some clients in the door. And we came from a film and TV making background, and we wanted to create essentially a production company where we make content. And you'll see, like, over the last 2 years that we do all kinds of stuff. But we had the success of a viral video, and so we used that momentum to basically try and pitch in concepts to clients. And one of the first kind of jobs we had was a successful pitch into Roadshow Films, which is in Australia is a theatrical film distributor who's partnered with Warner Brothers and Village Roadshow Pictures in the US. And we pitched basically, a similar concept that had the potential to go gangbusters online, following the same model and success of the shark video, but applying it to a film that they were releasing, which is a natural disaster tornado film.
In walks lightning strike.
No.
Crazy guy runs into the Outback tornado.
Yes, that's the one. Yeah. So that was our next video, and it was brand funded. There was a strategy behind it. There was a proper production process. There was a proper creative process.
Geez, you would have hated that.
Yeah. And it was one of our first jobs, and so that had its own successes in a different right. You could easily say it was nowhere nowhere near as successful as the shark video, but with the restraints of a client and, key objectives and all of that that we still had to adhere to, it was a really big success for us. And that did, I think it's somewhere around the 15 million mark.
15.2 million. Shark Attack did 21.4.
That's right.
Where's given so this one that Dave's talking about, listeners, is this guy taking a selfie with a tornado in the background, right? And he's kind of got this crazy face on. And where's the commercial? Where's the call to action in that? How does that get me to go and see the film?
So our brief for this was to get tornadoes in the news at the same time that a film was releasing about tornadoes. And so the idea is, you're watching tornadoes in the news, natural disasters in the news, and then you see an ad for a natural disaster movie and your appetite has been whet to go and see a film like that. And natural disasters typically come with a pretty bad news story, and you don't really want to be fabricating bad news stories, so we needed to come up with something that was kind of fun.
Okay, so you're inside the social experiment now. You've got 2 under your belt. What next?
Yeah, so look, I guess at that point we realised, we are able to replicate those results. We've done it, twice now, but we wanted to learn more because there are so many moving parts to this kind of thing. And if you're charging a client to create something like that, you want to have some kind of level of certainty that you can achieve those results. So we kind of set out to do it without funding, brand funding behind us, so that we had the ability to be creative freedom, and we had the ability to fail. And to learn from our, mistakes and to try new things and experiment with new techniques. And so we set out to create a series more of these. We didn't cap the number at 8 necessarily. It was more a matter of budget and time, and when we kind of felt like, I think we've learned enough that we can kind of confidently move forward with a raft of learnings that we can apply to future jobs.
Well, I want to hear what they are in a minute. But so you guys at this point sitting around now going, What's another idea that we could create a viral video around? Is that kind of what it looks?
Yeah,
is that the question?
Absolutely. I mean, we had a lot of round table.
Man, that would have been so much fun.
Conversations, a lot of beers, throwing around ideas, and it was. We had a list of 20 plus.
So, Dave, when someone comes up with an idea, because I find idea generation fascinating, because it takes guts for someone to say, yeah, that's the one, and it's hard to visualize someone saying. So, for example, one of the next videos is a stormtrooper falling down the stairs on the way to the Star Wars premiere.
Sure.
Which I guess, actually that sounds quite viral. But you could also go, oh, really? That's just that sounds dumb. So
absolutely. No, I mean, that happens every time. We got there's really kind of 3 of us that threw around most of the ideas, although we did have a lot of input from our wider team as our team grew.
So how do you decide that's a good idea?
Honestly, at the end of the day, if you can sum it up in under a sentence and say it to someone and they laugh or go, you know what, I would totally watch that, then you're onto something. And at the end of the day, it came down to the 3 of us having to mutually agree on that, and we didn't always do it. Stormtrooper's a perfect example of 2 of us thinking that's hilarious and 1 of us thinking that is the dumbest thing ever, and it's a total waste of time to make it. But the point of this experiment was to try an experiment. And so, it was not ticking a lot of the boxes of what our other videos had done, but it was just, toilet humor. It was just simple. There's nothing to it, but it's like a man getting hit in the groin by a football. It's just funny. So we thought we'd give it a try.
What are some of the boxes that others were ticking and the Stormtrooper video wasn't?
Applying some kind of story or narrative. All of these things, don't get me wrong, super superficial stories, but they do have a beginning, middle, and an end, a little bit of a setup, you establish a main character, those kind of fundamentals. This kind of has none of that. It also doesn't have a huge element of danger. The other ones, it was putting someone's life at risk. This one was, it's just a guy falling down the stairs. And, it was not overly, the hook is not as compelling. Man nearly dying, in a tornado is far more compelling than a guy falling downstairs. So
right.
It didn't tick a lot of those boxes, but what it did do and what we wanted to experiment with is simple humour. And what it did adhere to, that we try and adhere to a lot, is playing on something that's timely and relevant. And, in this situation, that was the year of Star Wars. Star Wars has never been in the news.
Mate, they would have loved you. And that wasn't even for a client.
No, it wasn't. Yeah.
So, okay, as I said at the start, listeners, there's 8 different viral videos that Dave and his team have created. We've got the shark attack, we've got the tornado, we've got this ultimate selfie stick fight, the stormtrooper, we've got a GoPro falling off a drone into the Burning Man festival, we've got lightning strike, someone being hit by lightning, a lion takes revenge on a trophy hunter, and a snowboarder girl chased by a bear. I'm going to put all these in the show notes to this episode. I encourage everyone to have a look at them. Dave, the top 3 by a long shot in terms of views were the shark attack, the bear chasing the snowboarder, and the lightning strike. Why?
Animals in danger. This is again Casper's kind of intuition at the beginning of this series was we looked up the most searched terms on YouTube, and animal attacks are one of the number ones. And the number one of the animal attacks was sharks. So number 2 comes bears, and so we knew we had to fit a bear one in there somewhere. And somewhere down the list is like safari attacks,
and then obviously natural disasters.
And natural disasters, yeah. So that's where the research came into it. It's nothing too, in depth, but it just shows the audience was there.
Interesting learning. So from a production point of view, I want to talk production and cost.
Sure.
None of these were filmed on location. Is that fair to say?
No, not necessarily true. Actually, a lot of them were filmed on location.
Because I've seen some making-ofs, and I saw a green screen in your studio or something where you'd...
No, I think that would have been the Lion one.
The Lion one,
yes. Test rehearsals. So what we do with a lot of these, all of them vary, by the way, Tim, in terms of
course,
how they're produced. But a lot of them, especially the animals, integrated, use of stock vision, so existing vision. And what you do there is you've got massive limitations into how you can composite that bit of vision into the video. So, for example, you find this great bit of vision of a bear running, and you want that bear running at a girl on a snowboard, but the bear is running in grass on a certain elevation, in a certain direction, in a certain angle. And so you have to go and shoot that video in a way that allows you to use that vision. And so the one that you saw in green screen, for example, would have been us doing tests on getting the exact action of the people and the location right, so that when we do go out and shoot it, we know pretty confidently that we're going to be able to use the stock vision in post.
Gotcha. Okay, so some are on location, some aren't. Can you put a budget alongside some of these?
Yeah, I can. Look, I get asked this a lot. It's a tricky one, and I think all the listeners out here will appreciate this as small business owners. There's a huge difference between the production cost to make something and what you ultimately want to be charging your client.
Yeah.
And so given that the great bulk of these were not client funded, it's a hard one to put a number on it, because then everyone will say, I want that for this much. But to put it into perspective, some of these videos cost next to nothing. Stormtrooper falling down the stairs is a stunt man for half a day, and a $1,000 stormtrooper outfit. That's it.
6.8 million views later and $1,000, everyone's happy.
Yeah, exactly. The tornado video, and that one was client funded, which allowed us to put the extra time into that. That was visual effects specialists, for 4 weeks in post production creating that tornado. And the studio came back to us after we made it and made the comment that our tornado looked more realistic than the ones in the movie. But that took a lot more time and a lot more money, and that's something up in the $50,000-$60,000 range to make something like that.
Okay. So, Dave, we've got the videos produced. Once you've got a viral video, what do you do? Do you upload it to YouTube and wait? Do you send it off to some influencers? What do you do?
It's totally another huge part of the process. It's concept ideation, then figuring out how to make the damn thing, and then getting it out there. There's your 3 stages in the simplest form. And so there's just as much work goes into propelling it to that critical mass as it does going into making it. And we never had budgets to seed the videos or use third-party agencies or anything like that. So
can you explain that one just for the great unwashed amongst us?
A lot of clients when they're trying to propel a video to go viral or just to reach a mass audience, get it on audio
or something.
Yeah, they might pay an agency that's called like a social seeder or a social agency that essentially go out and have all these different techniques of basically spending money to get other people to share it. And that might be paying influencers to reshare or retweet the video, or paying, 5,000 people to go and watch it and share it on their Facebooks or whatever that is. It allows them to get a critical mass really quickly by paying for it, essentially. We didn't have that luxury. And so we had to do all the hard work ourselves. And look, the key to these things is you have to get the news, someone in the media, whether it's mainstream media or slapstick crap online, just someone with an audience to pick up the story and run with it, and they've got to do it in the first 48 hours. And so our key goal there is who would be interested in this kind of video? And every one of the ones that we released was slightly different and had different audiences. And so you've got to figure out who the audience would be that would be likely to pick it up, and then you've got to tip them off. You've got to go after everyone. So, for example, the snowboarding bear, it was set in, we set it in Japan. And so the first thing we wanted to do was try and get it on the radar of Japanese media. And that's what we did. It was like tipping off every news outlet in Japan until someone ran with the story. And then you've got a bit of momentum.
How do you tip them off? Because you can't do it through Woolshed production company.
No, a lot of fake emails and a lot of fake names. Look, a lot of news sites have anonymous tip-off tabs on their pages as well. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Love it. Oh, it's getting very sneaky. So, okay, there's a whole lot of small businesses out there, owners out there listening, Dave. You've already shared some massive learnings, but what are the do's and don'ts for those business owners wanting to create a viral video based on what you know now?
Honestly, my first one for a small business owner would be skeptical of throwing huge amounts of money at a production company that says they can guarantee results like that.
Good on you. Yep.
Because you can't. Even we can't guarantee it, but we can apply our learnings to it. Next to that, I think it's, you got to tick 2 boxes here. You've got to come up with an idea and a concept that is highly shareable and has the, propensity to be propelled forward and go viral. And that's got to be independent of your brand or your key messaging. And then you've got to figure out a way to integrate your brand or your key messaging or whatever it is you want to achieve for your business into that idea. If you start with, I want to sell my product first, I think you're really going to struggle to come up with a concept that essentially is entertainment. You're just creating a piece of short-form entertainment that's highly shareable on this new medium, that we now consume every day. And so you've got to come at it from entertainment first, and then how do I integrate into that?
Have the right intention.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's hard. We had the luxury of not having to push key messaging for the most of these videos. And we're working with a lot of clients now trying to, do that and integrate it in. And hopefully, we can have another conversation in a couple of months and we'll have some case studies out into market that are showing how to integrate product or brand into these, but we're applying the same things I'm talking about right now.
Love it. Back to your question of do's and don'ts. Is it even the wrong question? Because it assumes that, people want viral videos, but should we just go, you know what? If something happens in our business and we happen to capture it on video and we put it up and it goes viral, then happy days. But as a small business owner, even thinking about putting all this into play just seems too big an ask.
Yeah, I would tend to agree in putting it in the context that there are massive companies out there with the 250 grand potty squatty budgets.
Yep.
Who are going after production companies and creative agencies asking for the same thing that you want. And they've got the budgets to do it. And people are still struggling to replicate those results. So when you have a budget a tenth of that size, it's a much, much harder ask. I'm not saying it can't be done, but it's a much, much harder ask. And I think it's about finding, production people, freelancers, doing it yourself, finding economical ways to try and do it yourself. And even that's really difficult as well.
I can tell you, going back to the First Kiss video, and listeners, if you haven't seen it, Google First Kiss video. It's wonderful. The way that came about is that the lady owned a small boutique fashion label in LA. Yep. One of her best friends happened to be a film director of no real note, notoriety. They happened to know a whole lot of models and actors in LA who are out of work. They brought them into the studio one day and asked them to kiss each other for the first time unannounced. It sounds like soft porn. It's not. And the next thing you know, it goes viral. So that's how that one came about. And again, not overly planned. They just wanted to create a beautiful piece of film, right? I think it's interesting. I sort of came into this interview going, wow, let's learn about how we can all create viral videos. I'm not sure that's the right thing that we should be thinking about. If it happens, fantastic. And if you are going to do it, then here's some things to consider, right?
Yeah. The other thing I'd throw into this mix is, and it's more, I think it's more relevant to small business owners, me being one myself, and I've, had different ways of promoting us, is forget viral for a second and let's talk about highly shareable social content.
Nice.
Right? Because they're a different thing. But they apply the right rules, and it's about how do you create really shareable content that can more than happily be promoting your brand, and with a little bit of ad spend or promotion can reach far more eyeballs than you could with traditional advertising.
Love it.
So to put that into perspective or example, you can do a simple Facebook buy, with whatever piece of content you might have that you want to promote. And you don't have to spend much money. You can spend $500, $1,000. Mm-hmm. Now, if that piece of content is crap and is not highly shareable, it won't go very far. But if it is, that $500 or that $1,000 can go really far. And we're doing that for clients now where they've had 1.5 million views on their Facebook channel with really, really small ad spends behind them. And I've done it for myself. The viral experiment video that summarizes what we did, which, it essentially was a PR campaign to promote my small business, was a really shareable piece of content. It was 2 minutes long. It was never going to go viral, but I put $1,000 behind it on Facebook ad spend, and it's had 360,000 views and 1 million reach. If I'd put up a piece of crap and spent the $1,000,
Correct.
it wouldn't have done that.
Yeah, you get what you give,
Yeah, and that's, you can create highly shareable content for really low budgets, and you can put really small spends behind them, and you can still make an impact, and you can still make a dent out there that, you can never do with traditional advertising.
And I think, everyone's going, well, what's highly shareable content? I would encourage people to go on to their Facebook or their Instagram and see what's getting liked, shared and commented on. And
Absolutely.
kind of, like you have, you've identified that, danger and animals. These are the two things that we're all looking for. So go and identify, some of those posts that you're seeing a lot of action on, and so what is it about them? And I think that's great, mate. I mean, let's bring it back, not focus on viral videos. Let's focus on highly shareable content. Hey, yeah. Dave, just to finish up, mate, I want to understand what this experiment has done for your business, because putting aside that it's an interesting experiment in viral videos, I think it's a genius piece of marketing for a video production company.
Yeah,
right?
Thanks.
It is. Can you quantify what it's done for your business?
Yeah, it's been huge. I mean, we did, from a PR perspective, we were doing north of, I probably did about 40 interviews the first week that we released that. We're in some mainstream media as well, but the important stuff was trade press. We got a lot of trade press that was talking to, marketers, small businesses, bigger businesses, and putting us on their radar. And to quantify that, we got a significant jump in inbound leads in the weeks that followed that, and many of them have since been converted into jobs that we're producing and working on right now. So it's been a huge
no surprises there.
Huge jump for us, and it's been great.
Worldwide news coverage of 205 million plus online views of the videos. Worldwide news coverage, so I was going to say NBC, Fox, CBS, CNN, Sky News, ABC USA, the list goes on. So I'm guessing this little video production company based in Melbourne, you're now getting some interest from overseas?
Yeah, we are. We're actually we're working on a couple of overseas jobs at the moment, which have been a direct result of that. Yeah,
mate, love it. How many people did you piss off along the way?
Hopefully not that many, I think most people took it with, in good jest and, treat it as a piece of entertainment, not as a prank is how I like to look at it.
Is it all over now? Is the experiment finished, or you can't really say, can you?
I can't say. Yeah, no, I can't say. Let's watch this space.
I'll take that as a yes. But, my biggest bugbear, mate, I know you've got to go, but one of my biggest bugbears as a podcaster of 7 years is that audio is very difficult to go. It's very difficult to get audio viral.
Yeah,
right?
For sure.
So maybe we talk about that once the video experiment's finished. Maybe we could
go into the audio experiment.
Mate, I would love to crack that nut.
Sounds good. Sounds good. All right, mate. Thanks for your time.
Dave, love your work, mate. Thanks so much.
See ya. Bye.
Well, there you go. David Christison of the woolshedcompany.com. And you can also find them on facebook.com/The Woolshed Company. Let them know you heard him on the show. Now, coming up, I share 5 highly clickable email subject lines, plus my top 3 attention grabbers from that fireside chat with David, one of which we didn't even talk about during that interview. But first, here's a word about a couple of businesses that want to help you build that beautiful business of yours into the empire it deserves to be. Support for this show comes from Web Central, who love building small businesses' websites that not only look great, but get you more customers. I asked Verity Ma, their Chief Marketing Officer, to share her top 3 business website must-haves that are simply non-negotiable.
The 3 must-haves for an effective website, I think, starts with a clear call to action. So when you get a visitor to that website, what do you want them to do? Also, the website needs to be mobile friendly because there's a huge growth in the number of visitors coming from their mobile, searching while they're out and about. And then finally, a professional design that reflects your brand. Because if you think about it, the first time that a potential client or customer interacts with your brand is on your website, they're going to have an immediate view of what your website does and whether you're trustworthy.
Web Central, helping you build trust online fast. Check out webcentral.com.au/Timbo for exclusive listener offers. Support for this show also comes from Cornerstone Business Solutions, an Aussie-owned, family-run outsourcing business based in the Philippines, who can reduce your running costs by up to 90%. I asked founder David Warren to share one killer tip that would ensure any business owner's journey into the world of outsourcing was a successful one.
The secret is building a small team. And you don't have to have a big team. 2-people team to get started. Mm-hmm. And then once you've got a small team on the ground in a structured environment, so that small team helps in regards to HR, payroll, IT. Once you've got that small team on the ground and you learn how to communicate and make that team productive, then you've got an ability to scale wherever you want to go.
Cornerstone Business Solutions, where teams mean business. Book a chat with David today at cornerstonebusinesssolutions.com.au/consultation or call them on 02 9083 6689. All right, my top 3 attention grabbers from that chat with David Christison. Number 1, putting aside all the learnings he shared around viral video production, what I particularly loved was how this very clever experiment underpinned the successful launch of his video production business. What a brilliant marketing idea. Attention grabber number 2, whilst many of you listening may well love the idea of creating a viral video, including me, the time and energy required to produce one may be better spent on other marketing initiatives. And attention grabber number 3, which we didn't talk about in the interview, the quality and the detail of the electronic press kit David and his team produced and made available for anyone interested in promoting this experiment is exceptional. It's accessible via their website and available via download from a public Dropbox, but here's what it contains: an infographic, a press release, logos, summary video thumbnail, all the viral videos, and a viral video thumbnail for each of those videos as well. So if you're planning on doing any publicity, like sharing the results of some research your business has created, for example, this is a great template to follow, and I'll put a link to it in the show notes over at smallbusinessbigmarketing.com/327. It's now time for part 1 of 20 insanely clickable email subject lines. Do love a big opening. Now, in case you didn't realise it, a key factor in whether your emails get opened or not depends, to a very large extent, on the catchiness of your email subject line. In fact, I've seen research that quotes up to 87% of people who say they open an email based solely on the subject line alone. Does that resonate with the way you look at emails? It does for me. I personally put a lot of work into the emails I send out each week. For those who've signed up over at smallbusinessbigmarketing.com, you'll know what I mean. And it pays off with open rates that I get often exceeding 42%, which I'm pretty happy with. So over the next few weeks, I want to share with you 20 highly clickable email subject lines with examples that will give your emails the best shot at being opened. And by the way, a big thank you to Emily Dowdle, who put these together over at optinmonster.com. Okay, the first email subject line strategy with example, if you like, is be minimalist. Simple, concise email subject lines will get the most favourable response. So, for example, how to never run out of helpful content, or Why podcasts rock! ! Nice, simple, minimalist email subject lines that will get opened. Number 2, be funny. You know, most companies send emails with dull, boring subject lines. So instead, why don't you stand out from the crowd and do something humorous? Hey, we love a bit of humour. Spoken about that in a previous episode with Troy and Zara, who shared about why being funny in business is good for business. Examples, I used one recently which said, sorry vegetarians, when I was promoting the episode I did with the fellow from Crowd Carnivore. Another one I did that got a 48% open rate was, my book's out, but don't worry about it! The reason I did that, it was when I launched my book, The Boomerang Effect. Daniel Flynn from Thank You had also launched his, so the don't worry about it was, hey, go and buy his instead. The money's going to charity. All right, email subject line strategy number 3, be shocking. A controversial subject line always grabs attention, but be cautious. There's a fine line between controversial and being offensive. Examples include, social media is a big waste of time, or you'll never succeed, ... Hey? Getting a little bit shocking and kind of stirring the pot a bit? How could you not open an email that said something like that? Okay, number 4, just use one word. They're bold and confident subject lines when they've just got one word in them. Plus, they really stand out from all the other emails in your inbox that have got lots of words in the subject line. One I did recently was just the word thanks. And another one that you could do is whoops, whoops. Something like that. So they will get noticed and get opened. Email subject line strategy number 5. This is a pretty common one, and it's a good one. Numbered lists. They're easy to read and quick to consume. So if you received an email that said, for example, 10 questions to start an interesting conversation, or 5 ways to get past the Dobermans, in brackets, I mean gatekeepers, you'd probably open it, wouldn't you? In fact, they're 2 emails that I've sent and 2 blog posts that I've written, and they've both worked beautifully from an open rate point of view. So there you go, team. The first 5 of 20 email subject line strategies. I hope you enjoyed them. Go and implement them. If they work for you, let me know by leaving a comment in the show notes over at smallbusinessbigmarketing.com/327. Well, that almost wraps up another episode of the Small Business Big Marketing Show. Next week, we are joined by Joyce Ong, a young entrepreneur who founded the Young Musicians Academy as a way to finance her way through university. She now employs 35 music teachers and has very little to do with the business, despite still owning it. This is another story of how business owners can and or should get out of their own way in order for their business to thrive. You know, over the past 7 years of this show, we've been privy to some incredible stories from motivated business owners and covered a broad range of marketing topics, from how to put on an amazing event to how you can make race car sponsorship get you more clients and everything in between. One idea, amongst the many, that stood out in my mind is Chick-fil-A's franchise owner, Arthur Greeno, who loves generating publicity by breaking Guinness World Records. Here he is explaining what makes for a good marketing plan.
I look at it from the standpoint of what would make me stop. You know, a good marketing plan is one that makes people kind of stop in their tracks and look at your business and spend time thinking about it. So at my restaurant, the thing I tell people is, my job is to make sure that if they're not going to eat with me, it's because they choose not to eat with me, not because they forgot to eat with me.
You can hear my full interview with Arthur, plus hundreds more, over at smallbusinessbigmarketing.com. Or I'd love you to subscribe free on iTunes. Hey, be sure to check out Cornerstone Business Solutions if the idea of a virtual marketing assistant excites the hell out of you. That's cornerstonebusinesssolutions.com.au, and tell them Timbo sent you. And remember, you are who Google says you are, team. So be sure to visit webcentral.com.au/Timbo if you'd like a custom-built website and managed for you. You got to love that. Or maybe you just like your current one brought into the 21st century. That is webcentral.com.au/Timbo. If you love the Small Business Big Marketing Show, then go and pay it forward by letting another business owner know about it. One who could do with a little bit of marketing love, because there's plenty more where this came from. Until next week, I'm Timbo Reid, always have been, always will be. Thanks for listening to the Small Business Big Marketing Show. May your marketing be the best marketing. Bye for now.